Welcome to a new podcast, Little Warriors. I'm your host, Rebecca Horan, and on episode 5, I'm talking to Chenu from Playball about children in sport. But before we get into it, thanks to Loopy Loo by Lidl for supporting Little Warriors. I never miss an opportunity to get into Lidl to stock up for so many bits for my kids, especially because my youngest is still in their Loopy Loo nappies and they've got the Loopy Loo biodegradable water wipes and the pants right up to size 7 as well. And do make sure to keep an eye on the Lidl Plus app for regular offers on the Loopy Loo range. And thanks again to Loopy Loo by Lidl for supporting the podcast. Right, let's get into it. On this episode, I'm delighted to be joined by Chenu from Playball, who is really instrumental in getting kids up and about and moving in the Wicklow area, and who I have first-hand knowledge of because my girls both do Playball. So welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. Much appreciated.
I wanted you on because we need more of you. We need people who are, I suppose, encouraging our children to move, but in a positive way where it's not forceful and there's kind of parents shouting at the sideline, but it's loads of variation. You were telling me before we even started that your career was in sport way before you even got into kind of this as a business model. So talk to me about that.
So I started as a football player, before I went to secondary school, because everyone was playing football in the estate and stuff like that. Then I went to secondary school in New Park Comprehensive School, and then it's a rugby school or a hockey school. What I would have seen as the cool lads were playing rugby, and also then going on the path of, you got to prove you're tough type stuff. Yeah. So in first year, trying to find your feet like that. So I ended up playing a little bit of rugby up until, I played all through school. But when I was in fourth year, I started playing a little bit of summer rugby league. There's a small competition, or there was a small competition in Ireland. And from there, I kind of got picked for Ireland students.
Wow.
I went Great Britain students, and then got selected to go and sort of have trials over in the UK. A little bit of a setback in breaking my leg in the middle of the trials. That's a different story altogether. But once I got back playing, I got another opportunity to go back over.
Was the dream to play professional rugby in Ireland or come and play for Leinster, or not really at all? You didn't really know what you wanted?
There was no dream. I'm from Bray, and Bray is like a lot of Irish towns. A lot of people get stuck there for a long time, and I just saw an out.
To get out, okay.
So I was like, I'll go and have an adventure. I'll go and do something different. All my family, my aunties, my uncles, everybody kind of just dispersed, and everyone went in their own sort of separate path and sort of all around the world. And I just saw this as an opportunity for myself to go and do something along those lines and have an adventure.
And you were in England for how long playing rugby?
Just under 5 years.
Okay.
I went to a team called Sheffield Eagles. Not many people, like Brian Carney, I don't know if you'd know the name.
I do know the name, I don't know why. But
he was a rugby league player, came back and played a little bit of rugby union. But it wasn't a well-worn path of people going to play rugby league in the UK. I went over, I gave it a go and sort of stayed there for longer than I thought I would. And then, yeah.
Was your family life, like your upbringing in Bray, like, I don't know if you had a dad and mum or a mum, or were they athletic? Were they encouraging sport? Were you always into sport, or was it just a thing you did to get the hell out of the house? Like, what was your upbringing like?
I wouldn't say big into sport, but like my grandfather would have boxed for UCD and he would have ran for Leinster. My dad was he went to Gonzaga. He would have played a little bit of rugby, a little bit of football, and was a sprinter as well. My parents both would have won like the parent-teachers races in sports day.
They were sporty.
Yeah, we were a
like
sporty family.
You weren't a lazy family.
No, we'd cycle everywhere. Okay. My mum's big into hill walking, which I love still.
Yes.
It's something that was instilled into me, and I would hope to instill into my own children, like getting out.
So there was a feeling in your house, moving is great, it's positive, it's good for our mental health, like even back then. So you're in your 40s now, like it was like, let's do shit, like let's get out, Absolutely. Very much part of your fabric. It wasn't just that you learned this in school. And
no, it's something it's in me. It's always been part of my day-to-day life, and something I really enjoy doing. Like just being outdoors is lovely. Even in Ireland, I know it can be miserable with the wet and rain and stuff like that, but I like putting on wet gear and going out in the forest, getting out to the beaches, things like this.
So you would agree this was good for you, even if there was challenges in life or in teens or going off to England, it was always something that was really positive as an influence for you as a kid?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Movement is key. It's like the foundation of what we are as human beings. We're built to move, and not a sedentary lifestyle, which I think is being encouraged these days with screen.
Do you think so?
Oh, absolutely.
You think it's being encouraged, or it's just happening without?
I don't know. Well, like if you see kids and they, like, I can go off on a tangent here about video games and how
do you not think it's more of a parenting style of control? Like they're safe, they're in the house, they're there, I can see them, I know where they are, so go off and play your game, and I don't have to actually interact, and I also don't have to worry you're on the road.
That is a huge part of it. The fears of parents, and absolutely. But I do think even if you think in a lot of jobs these days, people just sit behind a desk and then try and balance it out with a little bit of going to the gym for mental health and stuff like that. But it's not just a case of it's not natural for us to sit there. But I even look at the schooling. I'll go on another tangent here about the schooling systems.
But I'm a devil for it in work, and everyone will say to me, they're like, she's answering her pants. Like, I move every 10 minutes. Like, I am definitely a hyperactive person. But I walk, my watch reminds me, and I know this is all rubbish, but like it reminds me. But then I also know I feel much more better. I'm more creative. I'm much more proactive. If I sit, I feel so stuck. The idea, like the things I'm doing, I kind of get a bit like weighed down. I'm much better when I'm moving, or I go out for my coffee or come back. Like it's important to throughout the day not get stuck.
I think just to keep the body moving, and then keeps the brain sort of taking over, because you become very stuck if it's, whether it be sitting in a chair at a desk, sitting in a chair at school.
And you were saying this about school. Go on. Sorry.
Well, I just think, it's so much the schooling system. It's definitely getting better in terms of they have teachers who are like, okay, just go and have a run outside, go and burn off a little bit of energy. But I do think it's still on that industrial
and it doesn't suit every kid, right?
No, not at all.
Like there are some kids who really want to sit there, but there's some kids you see and they're kind of diagnosing them, or they're pathology. They're like, oh, that kid has something wrong, but actually they don't want to sit at a desk, right?
No, it's not for everybody. No. But I do think also that what contributes to that would be children's diets as well, and then giving them a lunch what might have a little bit too much sugar in it, and then they're expected to sit down and concentrate when they've just got this bubble of energy.
Or carbs, and they want to do something with that energy.
Exactly.
I don't know. I do completely agree with you. Even just being a teacher for a while in my life, I don't know if it works for everyone, and I don't know what the answer is, because obviously teachers and school systems don't want to have to entertain children outdoors all the time. But if you look at how it's done, even in that kind of forest schooling, or how the Danes do it, or even in you know, the Med, and how they kind of like have siestas and then they come back, or they get out to be. I genuinely
think children could do PE or sports and movement every day, incorporated into every day.
But why? And they're not in schools now?
No, I think the maximum primary
unless
school,
you pick it as an extracurricular?
Yeah, and then it comes down to parents having to pay for it and things like that. So PE might be once or maybe twice a week.
Like a bit of GA or something is in it.
Yeah, these guys coming in, or just going out and playing a game of football with the kids.
Just getting out, because the playground can be a lot of standing around chatting as well.
Well, often a lot of kids spend time eating, and like they're slow eaters. My stepson would be an incredibly slow eater.
He just sits there,
but he's full of energy, and then you got to get him out after that.
Yes.
But if they have like a half an hour break and they spend 15-20 minutes eating, 10 minutes of running around just isn't enough.
Okay, this is interesting. So you come back from the UK, you've done your spell, you don't know what to be when you're big. Like, it's one of those moments, is it? Like, you come back to Ireland, you're like, what the fuck do I want to do?
It was when I was in the UK, it was like, I need to have a career. Like, it's only finite. Like, your body can only put it, especially rugby league, it's an incredibly tough sport.
Is it like, are you training, like, is it intense?
It's more than matches. Like, in rugby union, I played on the wing in both sports, and in rugby union, you might touch the ball 3 or 4 times in a game. You might make 2 or 3 tackles, and people say that's a good game. In rugby league, you're touching the ball 15, 20 times. You're making 10, 15 tackles. So in a game of rugby union,
it's very physical.
It's almost like 4 times as physical per game. So it takes its toll, and it has taken its toll on the body. So this is sort of the counter argument to sport. Like, what sport is the right one to get into? Because you don't want to just batter your body and then
suddenly in your 30s be like, right, that's
I can't do anything.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I think I got out early enough.
Okay.
Of playing professional sport, and then even when I came back, I started playing rugby union again. I played with Clontarf, I played with De La Salle, I played with Sea Point, would have been my team as a schoolboy. But I just felt that it wasn't quite for me anymore. So I need to do something a little bit different. But I had, as I said, originally come back to join the Guards. I thought this was a career. This is something that I could do.
It's long term. It's got a bit of
safe. Well, I say in terms of
secure.
It's secure financially. All these sorts of things.
So you're passionate about it, or you were like, I'll just do it?
I don't know. That's a good question, because this was a long time ago now. At the same time,
doesn't sound like it was passion. It sounds like a bit like we'll just follow the.
I think I just thought it would be an opportunity that I could be good at. I would something like, my sister's a nurse.
Okay, so you're like, there's discipline in that, there's fitness in that, there's this is a good job.
Just makes sense to me as a human being. I think I would fit into this mold.
Right.
But then when I came back, a guy who I was playing rugby with in Sea Point was like, would you fancy doing a little bit of sports coaching, a little bit of PE teaching while you figure out what's happening, or while you do your tests for the guards and stuff. And it turned out to be Playball.
And were you a bit like, what is Playball? Like, what? Because I'd never ever heard of it. Obviously, I'm only a new enough mum. Like, I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, so it's not like I'd have known about these things. But I wouldn't have heard of it. How long is it in Ireland? And
it's been in Ireland since I think 2004. It was here, like I started in 2007, and it wasn't here for long before I got here.
Okay.
There weren't a huge amount of franchises and things like this. When I got here, I started working as a coach for a guy called Kurt Steinbach.
Who you were saying brought it here from South Africa?
Yeah, so he was playing with Old Wesley Rugby Club.
Amazing.
He knew a few people, and this is a franchise business.
Smart man. He's like, this country needs some bloody good fitness for kids. This is a way of opportunity of introducing them to a load of sports. Yeah. Let's get some good coaches. Like, smart business model.
It is, to be fair, and he was a smart guy bringing it in, and he saw an opportunity and he ran with it, and it worked very well. Now, in saying that, Playball isn't for everybody in terms of starting franchises. Like, it's hard work. When, like, I still coach, I'd love to get myself out of the coaching side of things and just run the business. But
is it hard to get good resort? Like, is it hard to hire and keep and retain staff?
It'd be the hardest part. Would be retaining good staff.
There's a bit of a seasonality in it.
Well, you can only really do about 25 classes a week, so you're limited in how much income. So
I get that.
For me, what I tried to do is, like, I saw this over the years, and I was like, I bought staff cars, I do fuel cards, trying to create a job for people. And then even in that, we do like things like birthday parties and letting one of the coaches run the birthday parties. We started another parent and children's class. So one of the coaches was a PT. And she would run the PT side of it. The adults would come, do a class with her, and I'd take the children doing Playball. So trying to basically have revenue streams for people, so it didn't just feel like I'm only ever going to do 25 classes. But at the same time, it is a tricky job, and trying to retain people is difficult because they are a little bit limited in how many hours you can do per week.
And how much they're invested. Like, is this their dream job? Is this what they want to do forever? Like, obviously you have a family now, like, congrats, you have a baby.
Thank you.
And you're passionate about keeping this alive and for your future, but that's not always the case. Some people, much like restaurant or hospitality, they're just coming in, they're coming out, you know?
Yeah.
Is there a lot of training as a program for Playball, what they have to have?
Yeah, we do a bit of a crash course initially, but what I'd usually do is have new coaches work with another experienced coach together, and then try and mix them around, so they're not always working with the same coaches, because everyone has the different coaching style.
Yeah.
The Playball program, to be fair, I don't want to sound like a salesman, but it's brilliant. All the classes are mapped out for you, so it's about how you deliver those classes.
Because you could have kids who have different abilities, right? Or neurodiverse, or really struggle, or aren't that motivated. Like, you're going to have challenges. Like, I know even myself saying to you, like, your kid is just not engaging in basketball. And, like, knowing when to go, that ain't for her. She's also ruining the vibe for everyone else. Like, knowing when to pull children out of things that are just not for them.
Yeah.
But also making sure they're not opting out of everything. Like, I remember going, right, cool, she's going to do hockey, you know.
Yeah.
And figuring that out. But you have a lot in Playball. Tell us about that. Like, there's a lot of different sports.
So it would be, I think it's one of the first multi-sport activities in Ireland where we'd have, we do the basics of hockey. We do cricket,
so drills, tennis, and learning
basketball.
how to,
But what we do focus on because we start with 2-year-olds, they say, like,
get over that. That is so funny.
I know, but
2-year-olds.
What it would say is like 10% sport, 90% movement.
Okay, so with the 2-year-olds, what are they doing? Running around or flinging the ball at their head? Like, what are they doing?
Like, you give them a beanbag, you'd make out there's a telephone, so they answer it, so they have to bring it up to the phone. So it's about the movement.
Yes.
And then so they bring it up to their ear, and then this phone's broken, and they throw it away. So then it's an overarm throw that you're sort of throwing for them.
Okay, that's cool.
Bring it in for them. A little bit of kicking, but again, it's more about getting them moving. Like, there's a huge problem with shoulder strength in children because they spend so many times in chairs.
This is really scary. What you're saying about the sedentary, like, I'm always thinking we're so progressive, I suppose, as an adult, and if you're looking at like 19-year-olds up, there's so much running in this country. I feel like we're getting so much better with our fitness, gym going. We're all very aware that it helps our mental health. But actually what you're saying is in kids, we have an issue still.
Yeah, no.
I mean, we know we have an obesity issue, right?
So HSE say 1 in 5 children is obese.
Stop
or
it.
are obese. Yeah.
In Ireland?
Yeah, in Ireland. Which is...
That's actually frightening.
And it's a little bit scary, all right.
What?
I don't know what concept... I remember when I was playing rugby, my
it was very rare, Carl. I'm similar age to you when I was a kid. And let's not get into like, you know, fat shaming, or children have different issues in this diet. You know, we have loads of different reasons, right? But it was very rare you would see a child who was greatly overweight.
Yeah, no.
I'm not saying we were more, I just think perhaps what we were consuming or what we were doing, but it was always quite rare.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a huge amount of obesity, but I do think it's like childcare only came into Ireland in the late 90s.
Yeah.
So there was generally one parent at home
Yeah.
before that.
Yes. Do you think it's the dueling? Do you think it's this
I
kind of
think
everyone's frenetically working and there isn't the nutrition and there
It's
isn't
time. It
yes.
comes like I love cooking. My partner loves cooking. We have a baby. She cooks all his meals, like homemade, home prepared, with organic vegetables and these sorts. Like we're a little
There's
bit snobby on
effort
that, but
being put
it's
into
important.
it.
We just find it so important. Like it's do the hard work when they're young.
It's the
I just
basis
think
for everything. You see it when they don't eat. Like you see it when they're even on a play date, or that particular day they've been shipped from pillar to post and perhaps they've just been getting crackers, and you see the level. Like we had a bit of a meltdown with community games yesterday evening. Perfect example, perfect storm, beautifully sunny day. I think she'd had a hot meal in school and then she's a devil for not really eating what's in her lunch. And this, you know, hungry, probably just bits of sugar, like the crackers but nothing substantial.
Yeah.
And it's just like...
It's not that there's a lot of the time the nutrition that we're taking is not giving us what we need in terms of the energy that we need to get through the day to concentrate. Like sugars don't help concentration, but it comes down to convenience for people of, it's easier just to, whether it be throw something in the oven and that's the dinner the children get. To go off a little bit, my dream, and I've been talking about this for so long, I haven't got around to it, but I want to start a holistic preschool.
Okay.
We're working with, because at that stage, I think...
Do you think even, is there, and obviously we're not going to berate our wonderful creches in the creche where there's great stuff happening. And I see the fruit bowls being brought into my daughter and so, but you do think that there could be a better model for preschool in this country?
I think potentially, like a huge part of it for me is so much money goes into third level education.
Okay.
And I don't believe, I don't want to say it's too late for people, because it's never too late for people.
Yeah, I know, but like,
but
it's not
at
the
the
priority.
same time, the dropout rates, which I don't know offhand, but I know a lot of people drop out of college.
Of course they do. Nobody knows what they want to do when they're...
Exactly.
I dropped out during it, went back. Like, no, I just think that's a different phase in our lives.
But if we could take some of the funding from third level education and put it into preschool education, I think like 0 to 3 are some of the most important years of anybody's life. Like the foundation of everything that we do. So I feel that if you could do a preschool where children were getting the right food, the right amount of exercise, I think like behavioural would change, like behaviours would change.
Issues, yeah.
Children getting their better sleep because they've burnt off energy through the day, they've been eating the right things. I just think there's an opportunity there for us to do better for our children. Life is moving so fast for everybody these days, it's difficult. But even what you're saying about in terms of wanting to teach Gia about cooking, like I think that's a huge skill that a lot of people don't have. And just being able to cook something basic for yourself, make a basic sauce and enjoy it, as opposed to, I'll just order a takeaway, it's easier. Takeaway is never as good as home cooked food. Like it never ever is. Every time I get a takeaway,
It's never satisfying.
No, every time I get a takeaway, myself and my partner, we regret it because we're like, we should have just
Well, it's a
cooked,
junk hit.
but
You
we were
get it
lazy.
and then you're like, ugh, I feel really sick, or I'm finished the rest tomorrow. It's never, and it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays, it's like 50 quid for a family to have it. It's not cheap.
No,
That's bullshit, like when people say that, unless you're getting chips or something. But if you're getting pizzas or an Indian or whatever, it's expensive. And you find yourself as you're eating it feeling shit.
Yeah. Why did I make this decision? But I just think if we could then have people going, no, that's not going to be the first port of call I'm going to go to. I'd rather spend the 20 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes cooking myself, which is the time you wait for a takeaway.
What do you cook for your I know you've your partner's son is in your home. He's 10, and then you have a Bobo, like a little Baba. What are you cooking? Like, what kind of stuff are you cooking? Everything?
Yeah, me personally, I did. My mum used to work. My parents split up. I live with my mum mostly. She used to work full time, so I'd come home and started cooking. I've always done home ec in school, so it was always something I was
So you
interested in.
just come home and make stuff?
Yeah,
That's
I'd come home and
brilliant.
start cooking, or have dinner ready for when my mum comes home and things like this. But what we're cooking for our kids, we do everything. I made a chili last night from scratch, everything myself. What did we have the night before? We make homemade pizzas. Anything
so
and
everything,
Yeah, we
but
try
you're
and mix
making it
everything.
from scratch
Yeah.
is the point.
Yeah,
So
no
have your
jars.
pizza. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
The
nothing
sauce
from
is your
jars.
own passata.
Everything, yeah.
Okay. And tons of veg.
I think these are just things that were instilled in me as a child from my mother and my father, to be fair, as well. But now I'm trying to take that with sport and instill it in children and be like, no, let's move. And like, it's funny because I have parents that will come to me, like Playball, we finish like 10-year-olds are when we sort of stop. And because at that stage, we're hoping they'll go and choose a sport. But I'll have a parent come to me and say, look, I'm really sorry. Gia's not going to do hockey anymore because she's going to go and play for the local football team. I feel my job's done.
You're like, great.
That's brilliant. That's great. I'm not offended because your child is stopping with me. Once they are continuing on sport, my job is done then. Like, I feel
and like I found with her, I was really concerned because Jason's hugely sporty and I like to keep fit, and I'm a bit like you. I'm always concerned about, like, that's really important to us. It's not just about sitting and doing art. Like, I want your extracurriculars to be, and I was really concerned, which is so silly because she's very young. Like, and now running is her absolute thing, because I think with running she forgets herself. Like, it's for her mental agility and for who she is as a shyer kid. Just doing that.
You just focus on the running.
She just runs.
There's nothing else to think about.
She doesn't have to do anything else. And like, she doesn't want to fanny around dribbling and like learning, and like maybe in time. And I know tennis is her passion, but you're right. It's kind of like they find their vibe, and you'd rather know than hear back like your kid is literally not participating. Okay, well, why? Let's get down to something else. Let's figure something else out. And there is something for everyone. You know, I love racket sports. Some people love running. I'm crap at running. I love going to the gym, but I love that you're giving a gauntlet of options to parents, and then they get involved. Like, what do you have? You've got hockey,
tennis, basketball, cricket, netball,
loads,
football. I brought in a little bit of rugby myself. It's not in the curriculum itself, but I have enough experience that I can coach a little bit of rugby.
What happens when you feel, you know, there are the kids that are just not participating? Are you very like, do you motivate them? Do you find that really stressful? Do you find parents are the biggest obstacle?
I always say I have two rules when kids come to my class. I'm always saying, the first rule is you learn when you listen. So if I'm talking, I'll try and talk as small amount, as minimum as possible, but please listen to me so you know what to do. Because we do lots of different things. We do a couple of warm-ups, we'll do 4 or 5 skills, and then you'll finish with some sort of a game. But then the other rule is they don't have to do anything that they don't want to, but I'll always encourage them to get involved. I'll always try to get them involved, try to get them, whether I don't like at this stage of the school year, we're in the 3rd term, so we've been doing skills all year. So at this stage, I'm like, okay, we're going to pretty much play the sports each week. So last week I was doing soccer, or doing football with the kids, and some kids would be like, I don't like football. But then the second the coaches, or if I get involved, they're like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was. This is actually fun. And I happened to a school I worked in on Monday down in Wicklow, and some of the kids, and it's not just girls, it's boys and girls. Oh, I don't like football. But within 5 minutes of me playing around and running around with them, they were all involved. They're all like, oh, that was so much fun. That was brilliant. And it's giving them your energy, giving them your time. I always find, like I said, say to my coaches, you only get back from the children what you're willing to give them.
100%. You see with parenting as well.
Yeah, it's everything in life, isn't it? Really, like, you have to give them your energy. Otherwise, they're not going to give you theirs. Like,
they don't believe in it. They're smarter than anything. Like,
they
know if you're saying go out and have fun with your friends, and they're like, well, will you come out for? Oh, no, They know that you're taking the piss out of them. Like, you're basically saying, I don't really believe in that, so why would you do that?
I saw it in my housing estate yesterday. There was a dad out playing on the green, and it's happened to me as well. I've gone out, and he was playing on the green, and there was loads of kids out there with him. Kids I've never seen before have sort of come out of the woodwork. There's a dad out playing, and my dad used to be that guy. When my parents split up, he'd call over, and the kids would be like, is Danny around? Can Danny come out and play football?
Because he was a bit of crack.
He was good crack, and he'd run around with the kids and have a bit of fun with them. But not many kids
are getting those role models.
I don't know if they're getting that from their parents, and it's not. I'm not trying to blame parents at all. As again, I'll go back to life is so busy. Kids love following. Oh, look, this guy's fun. Having a bit of crack with the kids, having a run around, having a play. Kids love playing.
Yeah.
Really,
but also monkey see, monkey do. If they see you enjoying sport and it's not I have to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Oh, it's box ticking.
It's such hard work.
Oh, I might lose a bit of weight. Like, it's all about the aesthetic. If they see that, they're like, well, what is the... If they're like Jason's like dying to get out of the house to play a paddle just to get his own space. I'm dying to... That's really good for them. And I think that model, like, I didn't really have that as a kid. There's 3 girls in the house. We found our own way with sport. But I think that if you model it, it's just a second nature. It's not a big drama. Like, sport isn't some thing that's out in the wilderness.
I think movement is inherently in us, so it's drawing that out of children, because it's nice to sit down on the couch, it's nice to watch a movie, it's nice to chill out, but then people fall into a trap of, oh, this is what it's always like, I don't want to do this, oh, it's hard work, because sport is hard as well, like working out,
Challenge.
training, it's physical, but if it's just part of your day to day and what you've always done, it just becomes second nature to everybody, and it just becomes something that you're comfortable doing at all times.
You spoke to me about wanting to set up this holistic preschool and the 0 to 3 thing, which is very interesting to me, because I think I've kind of obsessed about, my primary school kid, and I have a 3-year-old. We're obviously doing some things wrong there. And I'm not talking about preschools, I'm just saying in general. Can you tell us what we could be doing more of? And then I want to talk to you about some positives, but can you tell us what we should be doing more of with our 0 to 3s? Because we kind of forget them, because we're like, oh, they're just toddling around, eating brownies. Like, what could we be doing with them?
I hope you're not giving your 0.
You know what I mean?
Your 1-year-old brownies.
You know what I mean?
But I do feel...
There's a lot of cross-ons.
There is, yeah. I think, like, with the 0 to 2, say, I think that there's so many opportunities for just interact with your child, movement, like... my partner, when we had the baby, she started a massage course with him. So he has a routine at night time, and I went for the last couple of classes, and I learned the massage as well.
Good.
But it's even just doing things, and you're moving him, you're stretching him, you're trying to help. I say him because I have a son, but it's him or her. But you're moving with your child, you're interacting with them. But I do think once they start getting to 2, 3, 4, that's when you go out, kick a ball, throw with them, teach them to catch. It's all hand-eye coordination, depth perception, all these things that are hugely important to just life skills that we could be doing. And if you've done it early, then it's
second nature.
It's like a language. Like, children pick up a second language so easily at that age, they can learn skills and movement so easily because they're so new to life.
But they're cognitive. It's like if they're throwing now and catching and learning, like like you say, it's not scary at 5 or 6 when you go into a class and you're like... You're
creating pathways in the brain of catching, of movement. These are all really important at a young age when they are developing. And I think there's a missed opportunity, but I think there's still an opportunity for us to go and do this.
To play more. It's also about play. Like you're talking about the body. The body wasn't, those little bodies, you see them. I love that about little ones. They're always like, and everyone kind of gives out about they're always moving, but that's so beautiful, because then you find at 8, 9, 10, there is it all kind of calms down, and there is more sedentary. And if you can keep them
moving, it's just second nature to them. But we've had over the years, like, children who've been in occupational therapist, OT, and then the OT will come and watch the child in a Playball class and just be like, just keep doing that. You don't need to come to us anymore. You can the child just needs to move.
Carl, we know sport can be therapy, and I'm not like a psychologist. I have nothing to do with, I have no big opinions on that, and medicating, or everyone has to do what's right for them. But we know as adults, sport is such a therapy. It's so good it's vital. Like, I know even the depths of winter living out in Enniskerry, I moved from Dublin, and it can be kind of lonely, and but I know even in the depths of winter, I'll put my stuff on at 10 o'clock at night, and I'll bring my torch just to walk, just to get out can be really vital.
Well, I was going to say, like, a lot of people might be scared of the word. Some parents are like, oh, we're not a sporty family.
Yeah, oh my God, you hear this so much. What is this?
You don't have to be sporty.
You have to be an Olympic athlete, or I played rugby. You can do anything.
I remember a parent saying to me, he's just lazy, he won't do anything. And I'm like, take him for a walk, get him to climb a tree. And then the next week she comes back and she's like, oh, I tried to get him to climb a tree. He told me I'm not a monkey. And I'm like, okay, but if this boy would have been 10, climb trees from the age of 4. Like,
do you have these barriers a lot? Like, we're just not a sporty family. Do you get that?
I over the years I've coached, like, we coach over 1,000 children a week. Like, so you see it over the years. I've definitely seen all sorts. Some people, they just say we're not big into sports. But like cycling a bike, some people might say, cycling is a sport, but it's a nice family activity to get out.
It's a rite of way. It's a passage for kids to have freedom.
Yeah. No, my mum used to we used to live, when we lived in Bray, or when I lived in Bray growing up, Kilruddery was all just, though Southern Cross wasn't there, my mum would have like a gang of, as you were saying, the Pied Piper, 7 or 8 kids on bikes, and up into the woods we'd go for a cycle. And that's what she did for us. And I just think it's so important. So you don't have to be like a sporty family as such to get involved in, go for a walk at the beach, go and throw some stones into the water. Like, even throwing is important. Like, that movement, that mechanical movement, the gross motor skills.
Or bringing a ball and playing catch or batting ball. Like, I am so tired from work and it's frenetic, the pace, and I love to go out for my coffee. It's kind of a thing. I was saying to you, I love my coffee at the weekend. But you can do that, and we tend to do a beach walk with that, or something where you're not sitting in a cafe just. You're getting the coffee, but there's a whole outing in that. There's a Kilrudery, or there's going to Belmont, or... Okay, we talk a lot about the negatives, and I've had a few episodes now where obviously screens comes into play a lot. Positives with gender in sport, and are you seeing, and like, you can be really truthful about this, a great deal more like girls participating, not being as scared? I remember being a girl in school more than 30 years ago, and it being like, boys do that, and it was a thing where you went, boys play football, I don't play football, or I'm gonna just fanny around over here. Like, there was it was gendered, and it was kind of horrible because the boys would stick in their clique and the girls would be over here. Are you finding that better?
I think because I work with children who are so young, they don't see those boundaries yet. They don't see those sort of differences. They're just kids. In the creches, we can go into creche and we'd have more girls than boys in the classes. What I'm liking is we've branched out a little bit over the last few years, where in some schools we don't just do play ball. We now teach, maybe whether it be hockey, we run hockey sessions, but parents coming to me and saying, okay, they're going to try hockey because they go to secondary school in the next couple of years. Like, sport is a great way of socialising. It's a good way. You don't have to be amazing at sports, but if you're part of a team, that's like, we're tribal human beings, and we like being part of something. So I think when people are involved in, and they have the skills, they have the confidence to go and say, okay, well, I know how to play a little bit of hockey, I'll go and join that team, and from there straight away you have 15 other friends or 15 other people who you potentially can make really strong friendships and bonds with.
Friendship for life.
100%.
There's also, like, sometimes kids don't adapt well to their class in primary school, or feel that they don't have a ton of friends, and then maybe at the weekend they go off and do hockey somewhere else, or gymnastics. My daughter is a big gymnastics fan, and that's her network outside the school. So your school isn't your only closed, which can be scary for kids. This is it. We face into it Monday to Friday. I don't have that many pals. Suddenly it's like, well, my other things I do are my social outlets, and you know what, this is where I learn, and this is and I know for socialising in school, in secondary school in particular, when I wasn't hugely academic, like I was cricket and hockey captain, it was really vital for me, because it was like what I'm good at, and where I made my friends for life, and we still talk about those days.
But I bet people gravitated towards you, as you're saying, like being the captain of the teams, because they're like, oh, this is an impressive woman, or at that stage a girl that I want to be friends with, and like, sport can open those doors for you in just terms of friendship and social skills. And then there's just opportunities to meet different people who you wouldn't have thought you'd be friends with, because in the classroom they might be really good at maths and you're not, and you're like, oh, that's a nerdy person. But the fact of the matter is they might be really good at the same sport as you, and there's a bond there that you can create. And that's what we're trying to do in Playball, is just show everybody, like, have the foundation skills. Don't be scared of sports. Don't be scared to get involved, because I think back when we were younger, like, a lot of the girls wouldn't get involved in PE. They'd have the notes every week. And it's more just the intimidation of, I'm scared to get involved. I think it is intimidation.
And then you'd use periods as it. You'd be like, it's my period. It was complete intimidation, Carl. It was like, this is a boy thing. I'm not that good at it. I don't want, like, to be cowering when the ball... There was a lot of that, right? And, like, even in the Clueless film, like, jokes aside, she'd be like, I don't want balls flying away. Like, there was all these jokes, these connotations about girls being scared of... balls and, like, playing ball sport, and it was so bad. And now look at our teams in Ireland representing in hockey and football and rugby. Like, it's brilliant. Now we're at the precipice, like, there's so much more we can do, but it is vital in school. We're not all, and I would love to watch the community games yesterday. The boys are obviously brilliant, but the girls are badass at the hurdles now. I'm watching them, and they're like, they're trying to kill it, and that's really great.
No, I think it's, as I said, it's giving them the skills to feel confident to participate, not just stand on the periphery going, oh, I'll just watch, I don't want to get involved. Like, because we're working with children so young, like the 2 to 10-year-olds in Playball, you're giving them the skills that they need to participate in any sport and have the confidence to be like, I'll give it a go. You know, as opposed to just the intimidation of, I don't want to even, just scared to take that first step. We're giving them the first step at a really young age, and I think that's important. If you're doing sports, like we talk a lot in Playball about how it can translate to the classroom in terms of concentration. Like, being able to concentrate to bounce a ball, drop and catch, can then help you and can translate into going to school and sitting down and concentrating and focusing on something else. Might not be as fun, might not be as interesting, but you're still developing concentration skills. Well, even just take it back to the preschool idea, like the curriculum is about learning letters and numbers and these sorts of things. And don't get me wrong, hugely important, but we should be teaching movement. We should be teaching like skills that aren't just your letters and numbers. You can learn your letters and your numbers when you go to primary school. And I know they brought in the ECI scheme because a lot of kids were sort of a little bit behind others who had spent time in preschools. But I just think there's an opportunity for us to really work on children's physical development in preschools as well, not just the cognitive.
What would you like in primary schools? Like, you know about the kind of outdoor schools. Would you like our primary schools, rain, hail, sun, like, would you like them to be a little bit more integrated with the outdoors? Would you like them to be less centric? Like, what would your dream, like, what would your panacea of a school look like in this country? Because it is not what it is now. And I know in I think it's Denmark and Sweden, they're 8 when they head off into primary school. Like, they're encouraging play a lot and outdoor discovery.
Well, free play is a huge thing. And I think we could probably extend lunch breaks, extend breaks through the day. We don't have to do like 2-hour blocks of going and learning numbers or letters.
Why don't we? What's the fear in it?
Why don't we spend more time playing? I don't know. Is it the Industrial Revolution of this? We still have to react to a bell. The bell goes, you line up, you go, you sit at a desk, you do your job. The bell goes, you go and eat your lunch, you play outside for a little bit, and then the bell goes, you go back in again. And then you go to secondary school, it's the same. And I just think it could be, and it is changing. Don't get me wrong. Like, there are lots of initiatives of schools trying to get out more, try be more active. I know all these active schools flags that they have to do a certain amount of exercise and work each week in terms of physical development. But I just think you can never do too much. And it's hard for parents because they're working so late. It's not a case of being able to go pick up your child from school. Like, I'm debating, would I want my child doing homework, or would I be confident enough in myself that I'll be doing work with them at home that they're going to be learning as well? Like, is the fear that...
The homework thing is a thing, because my child is out playing on the green and running around and discovering stuff and making perfume with flowers and on her gymnastics bar and happy out. And I'm like, homework, and I'm really freaking out that she could be behind in maths. And we have a kind of argument, my husband and I, like, she needs to... And I'm thinking, she's 7 and she's not in Harvard. And like, what she do, like, what is this obsession with 30 minutes of homework?
I know. Is it really going to translate that much to secondary school, that we learn it all now and we know everything? It's like, I don't know. Like, I think we were talking a little bit about, I went to New Park, not a very academic school. I wasn't a very academic child. I didn't learn until I went to play professional rugby that you don't get out anything unless you're willing to put something in. Like hard work. We had my first ever trial was a team called Wigan Warriors, and they had a coach there, and he said hard work makes dreams come true. And it's just a case of, well, hard work gives you opportunities to grow what you want in your life. So I know I applied that to then, not till I was then 25.
But that's okay. Playball. Our frontal cortex isn't even developed. Like the gas thing about, like, at 17 I did my leaving, you should know what you want to be. I had no freaking clue. Like, it's okay. I'm 41 now and I still don't know what I want to do. It's okay. Like,
no, 100%. Well, you can keep changing it. It's evolving, isn't it? Why can't we keep evolving in what we do as a job and what we do for an income? But
life skills, though, those kids standing watching you make a sauce from scratch, silly stuff.
Yeah.
Or, obviously not being on your phone, or like even gardening. Like on Sunday there was this beautiful moment of like being out in the garden, and then I started doing weeding, and then she's doing weeding. Like, it is monkey see, monkey do. And my girl is great at going, get off your phone.
Yeah.
I mean, scary. She's even having to call me out in my bullshit, but she's very good at saying,
fair play to her,
get off your phone. And she's not into it, which I love. I'd say the other one will be much more. I think the 3-year-old grew up with me playing her music at night and being, breastfeeding and being on it more. But I love that she is just like, allergic.
Yeah. No, I was on a stag do a couple of weeks ago, and all my group of friends were talking about, what sport is your child going to play? Because my friend group is pretty sporty, but they're like, what are you going to encourage him to do? I'm like, I don't mind. Like, I want him to do something along the lines of Playball, where he's learning. But if he gets to 12 and he's like, actually, I want to do music, or actually, I want to do art, doesn't bother me in the slightest.
What age is he now?
He'll be 10 months on the 19th of May.
And you're like, when can he start playing?
Yeah, when are you going to start throwing stuff at me?
And are you, I know this is kind of a personal question, but like, are you both going to be working? Have you thought about how you're going to raise him? Is it a really like holistic choice that actually really want him to be not shoved into an institution.
Yeah, my partner's not going to work. We'd like to have a second child soon enough as well within the next couple of years, but Shan probably won't.
And she's very involved. I mean, I've met her down at Playball. She's also kind of involved. And
yeah, she's a sporty person. She's a PT. She has a degree in psychology and stuff like that. She's a very smart person.
Yeah.
But she's going to take time to raise the children.
Invest it in the kids.
I think it's important.
It doesn't always happen for every family, but I do think there's a beauty in it.
Yeah. I don't know if I should tell this story, but she's in a WhatsApp group and with lots of, like, over 350 mothers in it.
Wow.
And they were talking about childcare, and one of the mothers said, I think it's really important that if you can spend time with your child, don't put them in a preschool until they're sort of that Eki age, that 2.5, 2 years, 8 months type thing. And they turned on her and they kicked her out of the group because this was her opinion. I think parental guilt of...
That's insane.
It is, isn't it?
Because she had a strong view on something?
Because she had an opinion of...
That's okay.
But are they guilty?
Carl, one of my biggest regrets is going back to work because we bought a home and we were stone broke, and my daughter was 7, Gia at the time, was 7 months old, and I put her in creche. And one of my biggest parent regrets, now she'll be great and we're there and we're investing time now, and we both have spoken about how that should never have happened. And it is a massive regret, my husband's and I. At the time it was survival. It was like, and we would pick her up early. She was never in there past 2 or 3, but she should never have been in there, right?
Yeah.
Now, things have changed. They have to be 12 months or 18 months. But Jason rushes out to get Simone at 2:00 after Eki. Like, he never wants her there a full day. And that's great. That's you do you.
But I do think people are chasing that lifestyle. And I know lots of parents have to work, like, mortgages are so expensive, the housing crisis, like all these things contribute to the position people find themselves in. But right now, for myself and my partner, I'm happy for her to be at home as much as possible. Now, in saying that, I'm going to get her doing some admin for Playball and helping. But
also there's always, she can do other things, and she's raising your kids, and that's the most vital thing. But we could also cut our cloth and be a bit broker for a while. There's also that.
You can sacrifice a holiday or two, or the bigger
other
car.
things, yeah.
No, I believe it's important.
There's a balance in that. Like, we've spoken a lot about it recently, just changing the dial so that they are actually getting the best of us. My daughter dies when I pick her up or I'm there, like even on a Monday, taking Monday off.
Yeah.
Genuinely, she's like... Yeah. It kind of makes me sad. I'm like, okay, like, she doesn't want someone else collecting her, and she doesn't want daddy's food, which is hilarious. Like, but it's silly little things like that fill her up. And I remember my mum was at home for us, and I do think it's important to have something that stimulates you, and we all have to be busy. But I just remember that was the role then.
I think we have to make sacrifices sometimes, and I think what better sacrifice is there to make than for your own child? You know, to give them the best opportunity in life, to give them the best foundations to have a successful, comfortable, happy life. And I think that just starts a lot younger than people actually realise. Yeah,
I think you're right. I think we all think it's when they can understand and speak and learn.
No, it's not. They see it at 0 to 3. They're picking their sponges. They pick up absolutely everything at that stage of their life. And we need to be setting good examples, and we need to be doing the right things by them. In my opinion, please don't turn on me for this.
No, I think it's brilliant. Carl Chenu from Playball, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. Keep doing what you're doing. Like, I see your coaches out there killing it, you know, working with kids of so many different levels and ages. I go down there, I'm like, move it. Like, if I see them sitting around, fanning around, because I know that's hard to keep all of them motivated, but you're killing it, and well done. And thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.